Hello guys, welcome to class 44 of Python programming. We'll study subplot for the first time, though we must have used in machine learning models. One important thing here is we'll talk about subplot today, not subplots. Initially I wrote subplots, but then I changed it to subplot because subplots is a different one. We'll discuss that separately in the next class. That will be class 45. Coming back to subplot here, we already come across procedural method. Now we'll see the object-oriented interface today. Coming back to this programming, if you see there are only 4 lines. Matplotlib.pyplot is PLT here. So we wanted to plot. So if you want to plot 1, 2, 3, 4, which labels these two, you get this one. It's already run. So I'm not running once again. So numbers, this is X level, this is Y level, this is a recap. We have already done it. And the numbers are 1, 2, 3, 4. Till now we are using PLOT. We'll go to subplot from plot. So this one we have already done. This is not new. See, for the first time here, we are seeing subplot 1, 1, 1. If you run this one, this is figure size, pig size. If you don't want, you can delete it. Okay, we'll check that later. And we are plotting here. We are not plotting here. We are creating one space. And this is 1, 1, 1. And we have not created any object here. Still we are in the procedural mode. So if you run it, you get this one. 3 are here. We don't have 1, 1, 1. Yeah, this is here. So if you check between the first one and the second one, this is the first one. And this is the second one. They look similar, this one and this one. Even in the background, when we write plot, this means this is a kind of a subplot with, we can write 1, 1, 1 here. So this is in a way we are creating space. We have 1 row, 1 column. Then this is the first figure. You can write a 2 here. So in this line, there is no figure. If you run this one, you will not get the figure. We got the figure, but we didn't get the graph here. You will not get the graph here. Now you need to plot anyway. PLT dot whatever you want to plot, you can write here. Suppose you want to plot this one, we have to write here. 2 lines. However, this is what we have written here. If you see, this is what we have written here. These 2 lines are equivalent to this 1 line here. This 1 line here. So we are directly plotting 1, 2, 3, 4 on x-axis 1, 2, 3, 4. Here y-axis as well. Here 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And this is not required now. This is what we have done till now. This one 1 2 3 4. So from plot we'll go to subplot because we want more plots in one place. Using plot only you can have one plot. Now we want more plots in one place. In one place we have only one plot, one figure. We want more. For that we need to use subplot. Here figure size we can make it 8. You see this is a bit smaller. 8 8. You make it 1. Yeah. So this is your row, this is column. Column you can increase, row you can increase more than I suppose 10. Suppose row length is 10 here. We'll not worry about 0.511. This length. Now if you make it here 100 even, it can't go beyond this. Even we didn't get this one properly. So it's better we'll write 16 or 12, something like that. All the time you see here. And this one we can increase. Suppose I write 25 here or 30 here. See, this is bigger. So 30. So normally if you see, you get this one 16:8 most of the time. Normally. So if you feel this is very big, so you can make it 8:8. Now this is proper. There is only one graph. We'll have 6 graphs here. So 8:8 is still big here. However, when you have 6 graphs, this space will not appear big. Here if you feel that this is still a big one, you can write 4 4. This is smaller one as compared to the last one. Now if you don't write this line, then also by default it will take. You need not worry. So by default this is what size you have. Now matplotlib.pyplet.plt, this is not new. This is not new. This is not new. This we have already done. Yeah, this one here. So again plotting here. Let's go back to subplot. Yeah, initially it was like this. So this has no use because anyway we have one plot. And by default, if you write only plot function, by default this will be there anyway. Now from 111, we'll move to 112 to 112 is not possible anyway, but we can have 212. It's like this. Suppose this is the canvas and or figure, you can say. We'll have a figure object and then we'll create axis. If you divide this way, if you want to write, you can write this. Suppose 2 rows are there. I will write 2 rows and 3 columns here, and this is the first graph. So this way you will see everywhere. This is part of 2 rows, 3 columns in the second graph. 2, 3, 2. 2 rows, 3 columns, third graph. Then here 2 rows, 3 columns. This is the fourth one. 2 rows, 3 columns. This is the fifth one. 2 rows, 3 columns. This is the sixth one. There are 6 graphs. Suppose you want to draw a straight line here. You want to draw some line like this here. You want to draw something else here. Whatever you want, you can draw. So when you want to move from subplot, then we'll go to subplots in the next class. You can have different graphs, but using subplot function, we'll try to achieve this one today. Now only one row, 1 column, then the first one. You complete 1 row before going to the next row. Now see here, there are 3 rows, 1 column. 3 rows, 1 column. 3 rows, 1 column. That will be the same. If you change, then what will happen? In some cases, you will not be able to draw. We'll go to that later. But now 3, 1, they are all the same. 1, 2, 3. So 3 rows, you see how many rows are here? 3 rows are here. First row, second row, third row. We have 3 rows here and 1 column in total. And we have 3 graphs, 1, 2, 3. So here we are not drawing any graph. Not drawing any graph. Now come here. If you want to plot 1, 2, 3, 4, and you write Y label some numbers. See, this came here and some numbers. Now suppose I will bring this one here. And then I will run it. Then where it appears, because I've written this one, this plot function here. This is where we're plotting anyway, plot function. These subplots we use for the figure, for the graph, this one. Figure means this is not the figure here. The whole, this is a part of figure, this is a part of figure. Where figure and axis objects. Till now we are in the procedural mode. So we'll go to that. Let me delete this one and run once again. No problem. Because we are not using this object anyway. This object we are not using anyway. This will be useful if you want to change the size. If you don't want to write fixed size and you are fine with any kind of figure, then you don't need this now. Let's proceed further. So we have 3 places, we have 3 figures, and here we have only 1 graph. This one. Plot, we are again taking help of plot function. Let's proceed further. Moving to object-oriented plotting. Here what will happen? We are creating objects AX is one object, figure is one object here. So plot.figure, we are creating one object and we are creating axis by writing add subplot 111. So if you write add subplot and dot we are using, this is the object. Okay, this is the object we are creating and then we are plotting. So this is one method and here we have written 111. That is the only difference. If you run this one, label anyway some numbers, that will come. Y, in X there is nothing, only we have written here. If you want, you can write X label, but you have to write this way. This is part of syntax. Set underscore Y label, you write set underscore X label. Okay, if you want, you change it to X. Whatever you want, you write here. That way you can get labels here. You have to write set underscore label. Here also add underscore subplot. This is a part of the syntax and we are in the object oriented interface now. Let me go back to our original code. This one was there. So what we have done here is we have created one figure object and then we created axis object. Here you see axis object. There is another way we can create axis object that will cover in 46th class maybe. But yeah, this is widely used, add underscore subplot. So instead of writing this way, dot subplot, we'll see both the variety. Even whenever you do some kind of ML model and you need to understand the coding, you need to know both the ways. Then there will be no problem. Because people use differently. That's why. And there might be some kind of confusion also. Because somewhere you see subplots, you see Y underscore is here, Y dot is here. This is a different paradigm, okay? And this is a different one, object oriented. That's why. Anyway, two ways you can do. Coming to this way, we got the same thing here. Let's move further. I'll send you this this notebook. Now come to this one. We have figure object and we have 4 axis object, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now we are using underscore add subplot. Add also you need to write. Add subplot where? Here. Then fig dot add subplot. Whatever you write here. Then you need to write add subplot here 4 times. Now you see this is a part of 2 cross 2. 2 rows, 2 columns. See, there are total 4 spaces. There is no graph till now. Only we are creating here axis objects from the whole figure. The whole canvas or figure you can say that is divided into 4 parts, 2 cross 2 and 1, 2, 3, 4. Here, figure and axis we created. That's all. No graph here till now. Let's proceed further. Here also same. However, we have 2 figure objects here. And then in figure 1, we have 1, 1, 1, 1. You see, 1 row, 1 column, 1 figure. Here, 1 row, 1 column, 1 figure. Now 2 rows, 1 column, first, second. 2 rows, this one and this one, 1 column, then 1 and 2. 1 column, so we can't go to the right. We have to go down because we have only 1 column. So first one, second one, that way. If you want, you can change it and you can check. Suppose I write 2 2 here, then what will happen? But remember, this came from fig 1. These two came from fig 2. So you can count how many figure objects and how many axis objects here. See, now things changed. What happened now? 2 cross 2 we want. Then there are 2. So it's a part of 2 cross 2. This is 1, this is 1. If you write it, 1, 1. That means this is here. You can't write 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. This is not possible. Because how can you get a axis object? Okay. How can you get space, you can say, in any figure or canvas where you have one row, one column? So if you have written 1, 1, you can write only 1 here. Either you have to write 1, 2 or 2, 1 at least. If you write 2, 2, that's fine. If you write 1, 2 also, 1 row, 2 column. What will happen? 1 row, 2 column. See, 1 row we have, but 2 columns. 1 row, 2 columns. So 1 row, 2 column, that is possible. And here 1 row, 1 column, 1. This is the first one. And for figure 2, there are 2. 2 here. And these numbers, they come by default. Again, this is part of syntax. You need not remember anything, but whenever you are using, you can verify. You can practice once though. Again, we have figure and axis object. We have only one here though. And then X ticks, Y ticks if you write. If you run it, 0.1, 0.5, 0.7. Check here, 0.1, 0.5, 0.7, 0.2, 0.4, 0.8. You have to write set underscore X ticks. You have no alternative. 0.2, 0.4, 0.8. So this way, suppose we have data in this way, and we want to draw a figure using these numbers only, then we have to use S ticks and Y ticks. Now suppose you want to give labels. Here A, B, C, first, second and third you want to write. So you can write ABC here, and whatever we have written, the same thing in terms of measurement, but in terms of labels, you want to label, you want to name them, you can name this way, first, second, third, ABC. So the measurement that comes from this one, the labels come from this row here. The length, if you see, the measurements are given and the labels are given. We have different labels. Instead of the numbers themselves, we want labels, so we can write this way. Now suppose you don't want to write anything here. You want to keep it blank and you want to write something here, then write whatever you want to write there. Even we have not written anything, so by default it will come. And however, we don't want anything by default, so you have to write empty. Then we have 2 rows and 1 column. This is another way. This way we can write. This way you can write, or if you want, you can write using comma. Both are possible. Let me erase all, and then you see here x1, x2. If you are wondering where add underscore are missing, add underscore subplot, but we have still written x1. You go and compare with this one. Here we have figure object. From figure we wanted to get axis objects. Go here. These are all different ways you need to know, so that there will be no confusion later. We don't have any figure object here. So if you don't want figure object, you are fine with whatever figure comes here, then you don't need any figure object. So directly if you want, you can write this way. Even we have done this one, it's not that we are doing this for the first time. The only thing is we have written x1 here. If you don't write anything, then plt dot subplot 211. If you write, give a name x1, that's fine. Anyway, we have axis object here, no figure object. So then you can plot. We are not using, remember, plt.plot anymore. We are not using plt.plot anymore. We are using objects here, axis objects here. If you have one plot, you write plt dot something. So ax1 dot plot here, what you want to plot. Now for the first time, we are plotting something. So this was not there before. This was not there before. So you want to plot something. What you want to plot? For every t, we want to plot sine 2 pi t. This came from numpy. So numpy is np. And pi value import math somewhere, it must be there. Or maybe before it must be there. Let's run it. 13, we got it anyway. Oh, np.pi we have written. Okay. So we don't need any more modules here. So this is your pi, 2 pi t with t sine 2 pi t. And here 4 pi t. So two graphs here, two figures here, two axes here you can say, one column and two rows. See, two rows, one column, the first two rows, one column. This is the first axis object and then the graph. First within the square, there is a graph and there is another graph here. You can see the second one, whatever it is. Now here T1 arrange function 0 to 0.5 with this width. Similarly T2. Now plot.figure, then we'll start with subplot here. We have not created any object ax1, something like that. We want to draw using PLT now. See the difference here. Using PLT directly. We are not using the objects x1 and x2. That is the difference. Still we are able to get to, there is no problem absolutely. However, here in this case, we will not use this way. Whatever way we are using here, we will not use that way. There is no figure object here. So we didn't write add underscore subplot. Directly we have written here. The same way we'll write there, but we'll not get the plot through ax1 and x2. Through PLT we'll get the plot. So you can say this is in a way like procedural. This is not your object oriented. We didn't create any object here. You will be able to get two graphs. However, this is a must. Subplot is a must. Now here, Instead of writing time and again, we can run a for loop. Here we see for I in range 1 to 7. That means 6 graphs we will get. plt.subplot 2, 3i, plt.plot sin x and cos x here, ix, np is there because we want to increase this one with I, each I in 1 to 7. Then these are the graphs. So this level, this also comes here. Title, plt.title. Again, all things comes from plt. Sometimes it might be confusing when I've written here object oriented way. So this is not for advanced plotting here. It's not that moving to object oriented plotting means everything will be object oriented. Because we've started here, that's why I've written. So up to 3 or 4 graphs, whatever way. Because this one again we are using PLT. We are using PLT here in for loop as well. So this is not object oriented. We want more graphs, that's fine. But this is normal procedural way. We are using PLT to get the plots. The subplot first you can say, then you have to plot. So when we write this one, we get the squares and then the graphs you get using plot function, plot and subplot. And PLT we are using matplotlib.pyplot. So this is normal plot. You need to remember, no objects. Then the next one is again similar. Now 3, if you can count 1, 3, 2, 1 row, 3 column here, 1 row, 3 columns. Then the 1 row, 3 column, the third one, remember. In the third one, this graph you will get. 1 row, 3 columns, second one. You have to see the order. Next here, we have 3, X, Y and Z. So, this is also not new one. The difference is we want a scatter plot. Here 3, 2, 1, 3, 2, 2, 3, 2 means 6. 6 blocks we have and you count this way 1, 2, 3 and then complete everything. And these are the graphs. Somewhere marker is this one and so maybe somewhere else nothing by default, everything came. So yeah, this plus came here. So many things are there, will not worry. Whenever required in work, you can use. Next one, now we have a figure object. FIG you write, figure you write, it doesn't matter. And from figure or FIG, whatever you want to write, you can create your axis object. And then if you want to write this one, okay, this is optional, we'll write this one here. And color also, if you want, we can write, if you are not fine with the blue color or maybe this color, this comes naturally by default. So if you want, you write color is something, what, okay, you can write this way, blue, whatever you want, that way you can write. And then location, where you want to see cube square function. By default, it came here. There is space here. You can write 3, then check where it's going. See, it came here. You write 4 here. it came here. Okay, that way you can see the changes. It will come to the right, but we don't want here. So you leave it or you bring here. Now we have one object. There are different ways. You can write this way, or you can create one object. But if you want to do in object oriented way, you have to create object. Here frame on is false. Then polar subplot 2 to 3. Then you share this one, okay, with the axis, and color you red you write. So you will get this. See, this is false. If you write, suppose frame on, you make it true, or you leave it. Then see, there is a frame here, okay, frame on. Suppose you don't want, then you can make it false. You don't want anything there. Otherwise, nothing new here. Here the color, face color. This is not the color of the graph. Face color is red here. So for that you need to write. And sharing the axis, you want to write here. This is not common though. And still there is, I mean, it's a bit clumsy. But let's not worry. Now come here. One row, how this is different from the ones we've already done. Here you see we have three frames. Three out of these 3 frames, you see 1 row 2 column 1. So this is a part of 1 row 2 column 1. Now why these two come here? This is a part of 2 row 2 column and the second graph. Go here. Suppose you imagine this way: 2 rows 2 columns and the second graph that will come here. So this is a part of 2 rows 2 columns and the second one, and this is the fourth one. So for everyone you have to think separately. Suppose if you have any problem, you do this way. Anyway, you get this one, the first one. See, first one is there is no one here. Suppose you want to make it 3 rows 2 columns, then what will happen? Sometimes this might confuse you as well. It's not possible. See, if I write 1 here, then what? Then also not possible. Where it will go? It will come here. In certain cases, you will get overlapping graph also. So 1 to 1 we've written, there where the problem started. No, 1 to 1 is fine. Actually, I kept that way. That was the problem. Okay. So let's go back. Yeah. Run once again. See now. 3 to second and fourth. This is a part of 3 cross 2, second graph, fourth graph. Fifth, sixth graph will come here. Suppose instead of this, I will write a odd number here. Then what will happen? See the problem? There is a overlapping that came here, fifth graph. So when you are considering the fifth graph, we are not considering this one because this one is separate. The first two, if you see, they're different. It's not that anything you want, you can write and you can make a graph. That is not possible. Okay. So that might create a lot of problems. Whatever way we want, we might not get. Okay. Yeah. So let's go back to our original one. You can try up to your heart's content till whatever you want to see and observe, but the concept remains the same. Now 3 to 1, 3 to 3, 3 to 5. Okay, so 3 to means it's a part of 6. This is a part of 4. Second, fourth graph we want. So see, second, fourth graph we want here, but that's a part of 4. So you got bigger ones, here smaller ones, because these are parts of 6, 3 into 2, 6. And fixed size also you can change. Write 2, 2, 1, 1, you check it. Sometimes we write fixed size is equal to this one separately. We'll see variety. Here we have a figure object, we have axis. What more? Set title was not, title layout. This is also important. If you don't use this one, sometimes what will happen? If you don't write this one, this is for showing plot, or you can write Matplotlib inline. Here tight layout, if you don't write, sometimes what will happen is things will get overlap. Suppose I keep this way, you can check if it's fine here or not. It's fine anyway. However, most of the time if you see, there will be problem. If you write this one, even this one will not work at times, but you get in a clear way. Okay, there will be space here and properly will be able to see everything. Okay, so this is something we write to get properly. Nothing new here. Yeah, here x and y, these are the two, and we have axis object x, and we are using plotting function xy. So nothing new here. Maybe this was earlier one. Now how many we have? We have 1, 2, 3. So you can check how we got all these things. Graphs already you know. The position you need to check, that's all. And these levels we have written specially here. Plot dot xticks. If you see from the starting, we have never created any object. Using all PLT we are doing. See, using PLT only we have done everything. If you say no, we have already done PLT using PLT plots. Plots we have done, but one plot. For many plots you are doing, that's why you have a subplot function here. This is title. That's how this comes. Otherwise, the graphs, whatever you want, you write. Here 3. Here how many? Here 6. Okay, you can check this. And then here 1, 2, 3, 4. 1 here, 1, 3, 3. This comes from the level, but this frame and then the graph you get from the code. Now this one, yeah, 2 graphs in one place. There is also nothing new, so you can just go through that. Okay, from wherever I got this, I don't remember, but I didn't change the name here. This is just a function. You need not worry. This is a function. You can write ABC also here. So we have already discussed this one, mesh grid. Using that, we'll be able to draw this kind of a graph. So what is new here? See, from mpl.toolkits.mplot3d, or you can say mplot3d, whatever way you want to say. Dot axis 3d, import axes 3d. This is what you need to write, because you get this 3D functionality here. So if you check here, Matplotlib, we must have written. So this one is here, okay, and this is normal. This mesh grid we have to use, and these are defined here, okay. So whatever names were there, I didn't change the names. So here, plot surface you need to write, and XYZ. You see XYZ, Z is here. This comes from the function we define, and XY you have to create this way. You know that already. So XYZ, using XYZ, you will get this one. Z you get the heights, and X and Y you get here. From the mesh grid, wherever you have, you get the heights there. That's all. Now this is wireframe. In wireframe, it will look this way. So this much for today's class. You go through this. If you have any problem, you can ask me. Thank you. Class is over now.